Today I'm making another video just talking about wheel bearings and wheel bearing noises. This car has a bad right front wheel bearing. I already lifted it on the hoist and verified that with a stethoscope, which is the most accurate way, to tell the condition of the bearing. Lifting it up on the hoist, having someone else in the car spinning, and then listening to each hub. This one, by far, the right front was the noisiest. It's screaming. So I just want to talk about how it sounds on the road on a test drive. So when you're driving the car, as you gradually increase in speed, the noise does get louder. It's not like a on-off kind of thing. It ramps up very gradually. It gets louder and louder. This is the most common one. This is how these normally act on these Audis, which seem to be eating front wheel bearings on all the models, basically. But it gets louder and louder as you increase in speed. And as you load the car side to side, it'll get louder and quieter, depending on which wheel bearing is bad and which way you're loading the car. So this one has a bad right front wheel bearing. So what I'll show you here in a second is as I load the car to the left, as I turn the steering wheel to the left, the noise will increase because it'll be loading the right front corner harder. And then as I load it back the other way, the noise will decrease. This is usually the case on these, just from what I've seen. I don't think it has to be the case. I'm not 100% sure on this, but it's a dual ball bearing. There's an inner and an outer race, and I think depending on what side of that bearing is damaged, it could act different. But this is usually the case on Audis, especially from what I've seen. So when I'm driving, it gets louder and louder. And pretty much, you can hear it very quickly on this one. It's very bad, and it's that right front corner. So when I load this car to the left, it gets louder. When I load it to the right, it's quiet. So I know this is kind of crazy driving, but there's no one around. And yeah, so you can kind of play it. You can play the sound. I don't know how well it's coming through on this mic, but you can play the sound on and off just about, and just by loading the corner. So when I'm turning to the left, the noise increases to the left. So that's indication of a right wheel bearing that's bad. Usually you can tell the difference between front and rear. And usually a front wheel bearing will act more like this than a rear one will. You can still get some of this in the, even if you have a bad wheel bearing in the back of the car, but it seems more pronounced on the front. Obviously, your steering wheels and just the way the way you can load it. But yeah. So that's all. It's unlike tire noise on diesel. When you're decreasing in speed, you don't hear a loud roaring, like cyclic large noise. That's usually an indication of a wheel bearing. This is more just a low pitch growl that is it's a fast pace because it's just the ball bearings in the race are damaged in the race itself. So that's all. Hope this video helps somebody. Thank you.